Hey, I have a question. Look around you right now. Your phone case, your water bottle, your chair, the packaging your lunch came in, maybe even the clothes you are wearing. What do they all have in common? Plastic. And here's the wild thing, the material which is literally everywhere in your life, it's only been around for about 100 years. Before that, it barely existed. So, how did plastic go from a niche laboratory experiment to something that has completely taken over the entire planet? And more importantly, is that a good thing or a really bad one? Let's find out. Okay, let's start with the basics. What is plastic? The word itself comes from the ancient Greek word plastikos, which means something that can be shaped or molded. Literally, what makes plastic so special? At its core, plastic is a synthetic material made of something called polymers. Now, don't let that word scare you. A polymer is a very long chain of repeating small units called monomers, all bonded together. Think of it like a necklace made of millions of tiny beads. Most plastics are built from simple organic molecules. Ethylene, styrene, vinyl chloride, these are your starting ingredients. Chain thousands of them together and you will get polyethylene, polystyrene, PVC and so on. All of these are polymers. Plastic in its pure form is actually just a starting point. What makes it useful is what manufacturers add to it. Things like plasticizers to make it flexible, flame retardants to make it fire resistant, stabilizers to protect it from heat and UV light, and fillers to bulk it up. These additives are what let you take the same basic material and make it everything from a soft juice pouch to a hard car bumper. Not all plastics are the same. There are two big families, thermoplastics and thermosets. Thermoplastics can be melted down and reshaped again and again. Think of it like chocolate. You can melt it, pour it into any mold, let it set, and then do it all over again. Polyethylene, polypropylene, polyethylene terephthalate, these are all thermoplastics. Thermosets are different. Once they harden, they are done. You cannot melt them back down. Epoxy resin, for example. They are great for strength, terrible for recycling. Some common ones you will recognize. Polyethylene, the most widely used plastic on the earth. Bags, bottles, films, pipes are made of polyethylene. Polypropylene is used in making yogurt tubs, bottle caps, car parts, batteries, toys, etc. PVC is used in pipes, cables, window frames, flooring, etc. PET, polyethylene terephthalate, is used in water bottles, food containers. PMMA, polymethyl methacrylate, is a transparent, rigid, synthetic thermoplastic, widely known as acrylic glass, used in windows, displays, contact lenses, etc. And then comes ABS or acrylonitrile butadiene styrene, the tough, slightly shiny plastic that Lego bricks are made of. If you have ever stepped on a Lego brick, you know exactly how strong that stuff is. Here's something fascinating. Humans actually worked with natural plastics thousands of years ago. Around 1600 before Christ, Mesoamerican civilizations were already using natural rubber from trees to make ball figurines and waterproofing. The shellac, a resin secreted by the lac beetle, was used in ancient India as a wood finish and treatment. But modern plastic, that story really starts in 19th century. In 1830s, Charles Goodyear figured out how to vulcanize rubber, treating it with sulfur to make it stronger and more elastic. Vulcanization is a chemical curing process that transforms soft, sticky and temperature sensitive raw rubber into a highly durable elastic material. Then in 1862, a British chemist named Alexander Parkes created what many consider the first man-made plastic, Parksin, made from cellulose nitrate. He marketed it as an ivory substitute. Elegant idea, but it had one small problem. It was extremely flammable. Then in 1869, John Wesley Hyatt improved the formula to create celluloid, which became the basis of photographic film and billiard balls. This is basically the moment the plastic industry was born. But the real revolution that came in 1907 when a Belgian chemist named Leo Baekeland created bakelite, the first fully synthetic plastic. Made from phenol and formaldehyde, it was heat resistant, non-conductive and could be molded into almost any shape. Suddenly, radios, telephones, cameras and electrical fittings could be mass produced affordably. The 1930s brought a wave of new materials: acrylic glass, nylon, polystyrene. By World War II, plastic had become critical to the war effort. Parachutes, aircraft parts, military equipments, etc. Production capacity exploded, and after the war, all the manufacturing capacity needed somewhere to go. Plastic flooded the consumer market. The 1950s and 60s ushered in the age of single-use plastic like disposable cups, take-away containers, plastic bags, etc. It was seen as modern, hygienic and convenient. By 1970s and 80s, environmental pushback began. Campaigns, early recycling problems, plastic bag taxes in some countries, but production kept climbing. By 2015, the world had produced over 8 billion tons of plastic since mass production began, and roughly 60% of that had already been thrown away, ending up in landfills or the environment. Today, we produce over 460 million tons every single year. That number is still growing. Now, before we get into all the problems, let's be very fair. Plastic is genuinely remarkable. It's cheap to produce, it's light, which saves massive amount of fuel in transport and shipping. It's durable, it does not rust, does not corrode, and handles harsh weather. It can be molded into almost anything. In food packaging, it actually reduces spoilage and food waste enormously. In medicine, plastic has saved countless lives. Sterile syringes, IV bags, implants, gloves, all are made from plastic. In electronics, it insulates wires and protects components. In construction, it's in pipes, insulation and flooring. The truth is, in many cases, plastic does its job better than any alternative, at least in the short term. The problem is what happens after. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Plastic does not just go away. Most of it takes hundreds of years to break down, and even then it does not really disappear. It just breaks into smaller and smaller pieces called microplastics. And these microplastics are now everywhere. They have been found in the deepest ocean trenches, on the highest mountain peaks, in Arctic ice, in rainwater, and yes, in human blood, lung tissue, and breast milk. The health picture is getting clearer and scarier. BPA or bisphenol A, a chemical used in many plastics, is an endocrine disruptor, meaning it mimics hormones in your body. Research links it to fertility issues, metabolic disorders, and developmental problems in children. Microplastics, once in the body, can accumulate in organs. Studies in animals show neurological effects. Human studies are still ongoing, but the trajectory is not reassuring. factory workers in plastic manufacturing are at higher risk of respiratory issues, some cancers, and other adverse effects from chemical exposure. And then there's the environmental side. Plastic debris in the ocean entangles and suffocates marine life, sea turtles, sea birds, dolphins, fishes. It breaks down into microplastics that enter the food chain through plankton and fish, making their way up to us. Plastic production itself burns fossil fuels and contributes to carbon emissions. Incinerating plastic waste releases toxic compounds. It's a system that is frankly broken. So we have established that plastic is a massive problem. Now what? This is the part where most videos give you a list of tips and call it a day. But the truth is, individual action alone can't fix a systematic problem. We need both. What you can do: refuse single-use plastics wherever you can. Carry a reusable bag, bottle or cup. Say no to straws and cutlery you don't need. The most sustainable product is the one you don't buy. Repair instead of replacing. Dispose properly. Understand your local recycling rules. Contamination ruins whole batches of recyclable material. Participate in cleanups. Even one beach or lake cleanup makes a real difference. Now coming, what needs to happen at the bigger level? Extended Producer Responsibility or EPR, making companies responsible for the full life cycle of their packaging, not just production. Bans on genuinely unnecessary plastics. Single-use foam containers, cutlery and bags have already been banned in dozens of countries. That needs to expand. Investment in alternatives, biodegradable packaging, better paper-based solutions, circular design principles where products are designed to be disassembled and recycled from the start. The goal is not to demonize plastic entirely. It's to use it where it genuinely makes sense, in medicine, in long life products, and eliminate it where it's just convenient and careless. Plastic is one of the most extraordinary materials human has ever created. It helped to build the modern world. It saved lives, fed billions, and connected the global economy. But we built that world without thinking about the end of the story. And now we are living in the consequences. The good news is, now we know what the problems are. We know what solutions look like. What's needed now is the will to actually do it. So next time you reach for a single-use plastic, just pause for a second. Think about where it came from. Think about where it's going, because it will probably outlive all of us. If you found this video useful, share it with someone who needs to see it. Drop a comment. I would love to know what you think, and subscribe for more videos like this. See you in the next one. Bye.